Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Because tonight, we got a huge horror book haul. Stay tuned. Okay, so I've been taking a bit of a break from booktube this week. Kind of needed, but I'm returned now with a big book haul. And yeah, I've got some books here that I've ordered online because they've been very difficult to find in my little neck of the world. In South Africa, living on the coast very remotely. And yeah, so I've had to order these online. They're all books that are on my TBR and books that I plan to read over the coming months, coming years. And yeah, I'm going to be doing one more haul after this, maybe towards the beginning of November, and then I'm going to try do a little book buying ban, because I'm going to have lots of books. I think I've had a couple of hauls just recently, so I'm going to have a lot of books to choose from, so I won't be doing any buying after that for a while. Okay, we got quite a few books to get through here, I think about 22. So I'm not going to spend time reading the back of every single book. I haven't really prepared too much for this video. Just want to show off the book and say a few words. And the first couple of books that I got here are books that I've read. And they were both 5 stars, people. And they're probably both in my top 20, maybe top 10 horror books of all time. So I had to own them. And the first one, and I couldn't find it on Kindle. I had to get it... yeah, it's kind of an online library thing. I read it in one night. And that is Off Season by Jack Ketchum. And this is the author's uncut, uncensored version. As you can see, what Stephen King says here about this guy. Actually, it says at the back, who's the scariest guy in America? Probably Jack Ketchum, the outlaw horror writer whose terrifying first novel, Off Season, is finally available uncut. Yeah. I had another thought there, but I'm going to stop there. But yeah, this is an awesome book. Cannibals against out-of-towners. I think it's in New England, in America. I'm not sure where. Maine, the Maine coast. Yeah, and it's very brutal, people. It's very, very... extreme, and it's the only book in this whole pile that is extreme, but I adore it. 5 stars. Yeah. And then we have always lived in the castle, Shirley Jackson. This is definitely in my top 10, and people have gone about what is the other one, Haunting of Hill House. I love this book so much more than The Haunting of Hill House. It's creepy, it's gothic, and yeah, it's about this very, very weird family and stuff that's going on. And I just love this cover so much. I mean, look at that, look at the back even. Yeah, these villagers that turn on this family. Yeah, it's got some of the best characters ever in fiction. Mary Cat. Yeah. Yeah, so these 2 books I'm so excited to own, and they'll be a treasured part of my library forever. Okay, and carrying on with Shirley Jackson, because I really need to read more of her work, people. And I'm also really keen to read more classic horror. A lot of this is classic horror. A couple of vintage, but I'm talking about, yeah, 70s and earlier, maybe 80s, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm excited to read some more classic horror, especially next year. I'm going to make it a kind of a goal of mine. And I've got The Sundial by Shirley Jackson. Now, yeah, I have no idea what this book is about, but if it's anything like We Have Always Lived in the Castle, then I'm going to enjoy it. From the sky and from the ground and from the sea, there is danger. Tell them in the house. And so perhaps it's some kind of haunted house. It says here that it's something about apocalypse. a sinister family politics and apocalyptic terror in a masterpiece of the macabre. I like that. Sounds a bit more complex maybe than the other two, but yeah, I want to read more Shirley Jackson. She's an exquisite author. There, Sundial. And we've got another classic, people, The Stepford Wives by Ira Levine. Don't know if I pronounced that correctly. And yeah, I loved Rosemary's Baby. I didn't love it, maybe 3.5 stars. But yeah, this book was brought to my attention from Michael Wurtenberg. He's got a channel, people, and he's an author. And yeah, I think this is one of his favourite horror novels. Looks more like a novella. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. And it's very short. And yeah, for Joanna, her husband Walter and their children, the move to beautiful Stepford seems almost too good to be true. Yeah, I kind of vaguely know the outline of this novel, the story. They move there and there's like people that stay there, they've got these masks. Everything is perfect. All these women pretend that everything is okay in this town. And maybe something's wrong. Yeah, that's all I kind of know about this. I'm intrigued because Michael has got good taste in books, so I'm going to give this a go. Stepford Wives. And yeah, with all these books, people, if there are books that you recommend that I should prioritize over the coming months, you know, he's going to next year, my TBR for 2026, my pile of possibilities for each month, because I've done a couple of hauls and I'm already talking about the books that I bought. And I want to keep doing that. These are books I want to read. But if you want me to prioritize, let me know. Leave a comment down below. You know, how good is The Stepford Wives? Should I read it next month? Nice and short. Let me know. Right, yeah. Okay, next up we've got The Howling, another classic by Gary Brandner. Okay, and yeah, I like what Stephen King says on the front here, because I think he says similar things about Dean Koontz. I'm not sure if I agree. If you haven't read Gary Brandner, you're missing a treat. We said it about some other authors as well. So yeah, maybe that's a standard thing for him to say. But yeah, I like this because it's kind of a werewolf novel, and I need to read more werewolf novels next year, in future. And yeah, The Howling. Said I wasn't going to read much, but it's so short, people. I'm going to read it quickly. Karen and her husband Roy have come to the peaceful California village of Drago to escape the savagery of the city. On the surface, Drago appears to be like most small towns, but it was not. The village had a most unsavory history, unexplained disappearances, sudden deaths. People just vanished, never to be found. Well, why is that? Maybe the title gives you a clue. But yeah, I'm going to read more shaggy werewolf stories next year. Okay, next up we got a book that I ordered, I think in June, July, and the order got cancelled, wasn't available. Yeah, that's how difficult it is sometimes, people. But yeah, finally got hold of it, and it's been spoken about everywhere on BookTube. People rave about this book, and that's A Reformatory by Tananarive Due. Yeah, I'm dying to read this book, even though it's supposed to be very, very heavy. And I think it's about this child going on memory now, and yeah, and it's a black child, and he does something to a white boy, kicks him or something, and then yeah, he gets sent to this hellhole called a reformatory. So yeah, it's racial prejudice, it's all sorts of stuff. There's ghosts involved, it's haunting. That's kind of what I remember about this book from what other people have spoken on BookTube. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Yeah, I haven't read anything from this author, Tananarive Due, and I'm dying to do so. So maybe next month, let me know. Even though it is close to 550 pages, I can manage, people. So that is The Reformatory. Okay, next up we got Harbour by John Lindqvist. Now people, I'm reading this because Let the Right One In. It's right up there in my top 10 horror novels. Love that book so much, people. Vampire book, you need to check it out. And yeah, this sounds very creepy. I don't know much about it. I mean, I really only want to read it because I've let the right one in. I have read another book by him, something the Undead, Handling the Undead, which is pretty damn good. But yeah, I'm dying to read more from this author. And apparently this is about a child that disappears. It's an investigation. So it sounds like maybe it's more like a mystery thriller. I don't know. But yeah, I had to pick this up. Yeah, in the Harbour, John Nyquist, Swedish author. Okay, next up, another book that I ordered before and it fell through. Not available in South Africa. But I finally got a copy. And that is Thomas Tryon, Harvest Home. Now some of you at home might be saying, oh come on, that's easy. It's not easy, people, where I live, to get hold of some of these books. Which is why it's so important that I went online to buy books that I really want to read over the next month, you know, the next years. Because yeah, it's hard to get hold of some of these books and I want to read them. So yeah, what's this about? I'm going to read one paragraph because I haven't prepared for this, as I said. But here a family goes to, I think, a small village town. Here they begin a new life, simple, pure, close to nature, and ultimately more terrifying than Manhattan's darkest alley. So yeah, they move from the big city to a small town. I think it's like a folk horror. And then yeah, they get invited to this festival, ancient festival called Harvest Home, or of Harvest Home. A ceremony whose quaintness disguises dark intentions. So yeah, it's a terrifying ceremony, things go very wrong. You know, maybe it's something like it's a movie called, I spoke about it in my last video. Oh, never mind, we're not talking movies here. But yeah, it sounds very creepy, kind of folktale, kind of cult, that kind of thing. So it's Harvest Home. Okay, next up we got 2 paperbacks from hell. Now people, I haven't had a lot of success just lately with paperbacks from hell. I've read some really good ones, and even you're going to find out in my reading wrap up, I've DNF'd another one. Was that in my last update? I'm not sure, I can't remember. But yeah, it didn't work out for me. So I'm hoping my luck changes again. Here we got Rapture by Thomas Tessier. Right, and yeah, it looks like a slasher. Once again, Grady Hendrix, the introduction. And you've got to be careful reading those introductions with Grady Hendrix, because sometimes he tells you too much. Although sometimes it doesn't really matter. Okay, in this case, yeah, it's obsession, slasher. Some guys love this girl, and then it really makes him crazy. And he'll do things he never dreamed possible, stalking, destroying everything she loves. Yeah, until he's all she's got left. So, kind of stalky, slashy, kind of disturbing in that way. Yeah, Rapture. And then we got another werewolf tale, I think. Actually, this actually I did read the back, and this sounds really interesting, people. This is a pack by David Fisher, and I don't think this is werewolves. I think it's dogs. Yeah. In the August heat, they frolicked on the beaches, fetched sticks, played with the children. And then they abandoned people. The summer dwellers left, abandoning them to the island's harsh winter. How do you do that to a dog? Screw you! Ravenous hunger and violent rage have brought them together under a cunning, ferocious leader. Yeah, serves those humans right. I don't care what happens to those humans. You don't abandon a dog. You look after them, love them, care for them. You can probably tell I'm a dog person. But seriously, don't leave a dog behind. Yeah, man has betrayed his best friend. Now the dogs will have their day. Bitter winter and the dogs of summer have grown hungry and vicious. Yeah, I like the sound of this very much. Very much. Yeah, it's my kind of book. So, got the Rapture and the pack. Time for another classic, people. I've also heard this spoken about many times on booktube. Yeah, Flowers in the Attic, people, by Virginia Andrews. I've heard this is very disturbing, or maybe not through my lens, I don't know. Beautifully written, macabre and thoroughly nasty. Okay, yeah, nasty. I can do with that. And I think it's about these children that are kind of left in the attic. Left there. And yeah, and struggling to stay alive, it says here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what it's about. I heard rumours it's something about a bit of incest stuff going on. I'm not sure. But it sounds very intriguing, and as I say, I want to read more classic horror, and this will definitely be classic horror, right? Yeah, so Flowers in the Attic. Okay, one way I found a lot of these classic books was I went on Goodreads, and you know, like you've got the Listopias, so I said, you know, best classic books of all time, classic horror. One name that popped up, The Book of Skulls by Robert Silverberg. And yeah, four friends embark on a cross-country trip in search of a legendary monastery. There they hope to find the secrets of immortality presented in an ancient manuscript, The Book of Skulls. So yeah, this sounds very, very interesting. Kind of little horror fantasy thing going on here. They will present themselves and pay the horrific price demanded, for immortality requires sacrifice. Yes, it does. One by one. Two victims to balance two survivors. One by suicide, one by murder. Yeah. Beneath the gaze of grinning skulls, the terror begins. Yeah, it sounds fun. You know, I'm really getting more into my dark fantasy and my fantasy again. This could be a nice kind of horror genre blend thing. Book of Skulls. Okay, next up we got The Keep by F. Paul Wilson. I've been looking for this novel forever. Another one. And apparently it's part of a series called the Adversary Cycle. And is this also a werewolf thing? I know it's a Nazi thing. Yeah, Nazi thing, and I think it combines werewolves. Or is it, okay, something is murdering my men. Good. If you're a Nazi, you deserve to be murdered. So reads a message received from a Nazi commander stationed in a small castle high in the remote Transylvanian Alps. Invisible and silent, their powerful enemy selects one victim per night, leaving the bloodless and mutilated corpses behind to terrify its future victims. Yeah, so it's folklore. I'm not too sure if it's let me know, is it vampires or is it werewolves? But yeah, this is a novel that I've been looking for. It's an author that I've been wanting to find. And you know, even, I know that I live in a very remote area, but even going to the bigger cities, they just don't have books like this. You'd be surprised. It's just, they have Stephen King. I've gone through this, just the usual stuff. James Herbert, Stephen King, they've got Dean Koontz, and then, yeah, a smattering of other authors here and there, but they never have horror sections, huge horror sections. So yeah, intrigued by this. The Keep. Okay, next up we got Between Two Fires by Christopher Buhlman, an epic tale of medieval horror. People have bought this purely because of Goodreads, and booktube, and hearing people rave about it, and yeah, also Goodreads, checking ratings, and just everyone talks about this book. And yeah, I'm not going to read the back. It's set during the Black Plague, and it's supposed to be like this epic thing between good and evil, and as I say, medieval horror set during the Black Plague, excuse me. Yeah, so okay, troubled priest, last survivor of his parish, drowning himself in wine and guilt, a young girl orphaned, a brutal night, whatever. This trio will undertake a journey across a medieval French countryside decimated by war and plague, encountering along the way martyrs and saints, brigands and fools, the damned and their hellish masters. Yeah, it's supposed to be quite kind of epic in scope, and I'm just super intrigued by this. And the fact that it's a little bit of a crossover. I'm starting to read more of that. Not just horror, but yeah, medieval horror, maybe historical horror. which we're going to come to just now. But yeah, that's Between Two Fires. Okay everyone, this next book I was going to actually present at the end, because it's a book I'm most excited about. My favourite author, or is it? But yeah, I have to do it now. And yeah, the end of the world as we know it, people. New Tales of Stephen King's The Stand. And I've only heard good things about this book. And it's not Stephen King, it's other authors writing short stories, I suppose, based upon characters and events and things in The Stand. You know, if you've read this, do I need to reread The Stand before I read these stories? Because I think I remember it pretty well. Yeah, and it's got some great authors. Paul Tremblay, Chuck Wendig, Catriona Ward, yeah, Tim Levin, Joe Lansdale. Man, I love me some Lansdale. Alma Katsu. So yeah, it's got some Nat Cassidy, Poppy Z. Bright. That'll be a dark one. But yeah, it's got some great authors. I love The Stand. One of my favourite novels ever, of all time. So I'm super excited to get this. And it says an introduction by Stephen King as well. So that's pretty cool. And this is a hardcover edition. Yeah, in pretty good nick. Excited for this one. Yeah. The end of the world as we know it. Okay, next up we've got The Hollow Man from Dan Simmons. Now I've really only read his horror novels, and I really enjoy them. I like The Terror. This looks like it might be vaguely horror. I haven't read any of his science fiction. So he's written in a number of different genres. I don't know where this sits. Yeah, but let me read just a little bit of the back. I'm counting this horror because he's a horror author. Cut me some slack here. Okay. Jeremy has a secret. All his life he's been cursed, that's a good thing, with the ability to read minds. He knows the secret thoughts, fears and desires of others as if they were his own. For years his wife Gail has served as a shield between Jeremy and the burden of his terrible knowledge. But Gail is dying, her mind ebbing slowly away, leaving him vulnerable to the chaotic flood of thoughts that threaten to sweep away his sanity. Yeah, so this sounds something completely different. Kind of weird fiction. Yeah, so I'm just going in here completely blind. It doesn't talk about it being a horror, but it sounds kind of horrifying. Losing your mind, terror, insanity, that kind of thing. So yeah, The Hollow Man. Okay, next up we got Fingers of Fear by J.U. Nicholson. This is another one that I found on Goodreads. Best classic horror, and yeah, it just sounded really interesting. It talks at the back, you know, it's kind of a haunting. It's the werewolves or vampires. Yeah, utterly ruined by the stock market crash. This guy loses his money, his job, his wife, an old school friend. Oh God! But as soon as he arrives at Ormsby, okay, so once again travel probably from the city to some place. It is clear that something is terribly wrong. Ghosts stalk the corridors. So yeah, it's a haunted house kind of thing. And Seaforth awakens to find a mark made by a human mouth on his neck. Okay, that's his neck here. Maybe this is him. Okay, so mark on his neck. And then, is there a vampire, a werewolf, or something even worse at Seaforth? So yeah, this sounds intriguing. Carl Edward Wagner calls this one of the finest supernatural horror novels ever written. And apparently this is his only novel. But yeah, as I said, I want to read more classic horror. You know, I want to go back a bit more than go forward. Because to be honest, I've been a little bit disappointed with some of the modern horror I've read. Not all, just some. I'm going to read more classic horror again. Yeah, Fingers of Fear. The Matthew Corbett series by Robert McCammon, people. Now I'm on book 6 at the moment. I'm 80% of the way through the book. So I don't even want to talk about this book. I don't even want to look at the back. and I haven't, and I'm not going to, because this is a freaking amazing series, and this is going to be a 5-star. Part 6, this is part 7, I don't know, but I'm loving the series, people. You should read Robert McCammon. This is called Cardinal Black. And yeah, all I can comment on is the one I'm reading right now, which is The Freedom of the Mask. It might be the best in the whole series, part 6. I'm blown away. It is vicious. It is brutal. And yeah, this is called historical fiction, but it's horror, people. This book, some of these books, it's horror. Set, way back then. But yeah, I'm not even going to read the back for you. Look at this cover. And start with Speaks a Nightbird. Do yourselves a favor, read the series, or read Swan Song, or read Boy's Life. Just read Robert McCammon. He's absolutely genius. Storyteller. Perhaps better than Stephen King. I've had no duds with him. Read more than 10 of his books. Not one below 4-star. Mostly 5-star. So yeah, that's Cardinal Black. Okay, and the only short story collection I've got is Magic Terror. 7 Tales by Peter Straub. Yeah, so I love Ghost Story. A couple of other books that I really enjoyed but didn't exactly love. It'll be good to see his short story writing. So I'm going to leave it at that. Elegant, terrifying, provocative. Yeah. Always looking for some good short stories to read. Horror stories. Okay, next up, another kind of hybrid science fiction, horror. Known as a science fiction author. Island of Dr. Moreau and Other Tales. Now, I read the Island of Dr. Moreau a long time ago. There's a good body horror in it. But yeah, I'm going to definitely read more science fiction, some more H.G. Wells. But there's a lot of horror here as well. Yeah, I love this cover. Beautiful. And finally, people, bought a sequel to a series that I want to continue with. And this is Necroscope 2, Vampiri by Brian Lumley. I think I'm going to have to reread Necroscope. I think I gave it 5 stars, people, and I haven't carried on with the series. So I'm going to reread it before I read this one. But yeah, it's a brilliant first book, Necroscope. And yeah, I'm dying to continue with the series. That's vampires. As it says here, like you've never seen before. Yeah, from what I remember about Necroscope, I think it's a battle between a vampire. Actually, the vampire is kind of in the middle. There's a necroscope and another guy who draws the dead out by force. And the necroscope is who can talk to the dead. And there's kind of a clashing of heads there. I'm not going to go into detail because I can't remember. But this sounds interesting. And yeah, I want to continue the series. Okay everyone, that's my video for tonight. Yeah, apologies, I'm a little bit unprepared this time. Normally I'm the kind of person that takes lots of notes and just try to get prepared for what I'm going to say. Let's stuff it tonight. Just it's a haul. Just talk about the books, and I try to do that. Hope it came across alright. But if not, so what. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down in the spaces below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to have a conversation with you, as always. And yeah, people, if you want to prioritize some of these books for me, let me know your favorites. And I can know what kind of thing. I'm excited about like restructuring my library, my books. I gave an unhaul about 2 weeks ago. Because yeah, I'm making space for all these books. And there's going to be one more coming at the end of the month. Maybe the beginning of November. And then there's the Read What You Own challenge, which I'm kind of going to take part again, but like not at a huge level, cheat at any time. But yeah, let me know what you think about these books. If you read them, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, people, so take care of yourselves, everyone. Hope you're doing well out there. Take care of yourselves. Keep those pages turning. And cheers.